Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I think this is the first video I've ever uploaded on here. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on the new 1975 album, Notes in a Conditional Form. I think it's been out for about a week or a week and a half out by now. I would say that I'm personally a 1975 fan. I really enjoy a lot of their music from their first and second albums. I bought tickets to see them in June before the whole pandemic. And even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff they've done, I'm not as big as a fan of the actual members of the band anymore as I used to be. I really still enjoy a lot of their music, so I try to be as objective as possible when listening to this album, especially because their third album didn't really resonate with me as much. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first single off of this album was People, released on August 22nd of 2019. And if this is the only song you've heard from this band, I would recommend you to not take it as a judgment of their actual music. I know a lot of people absolutely hated this song because of the way it sounds, and I'd say I agree with those people. I did not enjoy it. Not because they were going for a different sound, because I know they were trying to go for a more edgy, metal inspired sound, but honestly, it just sounded like a car commercial song to me. It sounded really generic and just like noise. And I think in terms of music and lyrics too, I think they could have done a lot better. I think the second single from this album, Frail State of Mind, represents the overall, what you can overall expect of most of the songs on this album. I really love Frail State of Mind, as well as Birthday Party and Me and You Together song. I think it's maybe because I went through a really hard time at the beginning of 2020, but their lyrics and messages about social anxiety, unrequited love, left behind by your friends, or totally alone, that really resonated with me. The other single from this album is Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless. If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know, and Guys. These songs didn't stick as much with me, but I still think that If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know, and Guys are both very catchy, very 1975-ish lyrics, because If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know is very edgy about sex, Tumblr, cigarette, those kinds of vibes, you know? Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless America, besides People, was probably my least favorite single off this album. It wasn't necessarily all that bad, but mostly just kind of boring and a little too simplistic for my taste, but it still wasn't terrible. One major problem that I know a lot of people didn't really like about this album was the fact that it's really freaking long. I know their second album, If I Like It When You Sleep, For You're So Beautiful, whatever. That album was also very long. It was about 7 minutes shorter than this one, which has a total runtime of an hour and 20 minutes. However, I feel like that album had a lot more songs that were very consistent in tone and really flowed together, so personally, I didn't notice the length of that album as much as I did this one. I'd say that if you're not really a fan of this band and you want to listen to this album, there's only about 12 or 13 songs that are actually worth listening to. Here's what I would necessarily split into one album. And while I do appreciate the talent and the sounds that went into songs like Bagsy, Not a Net, Shiny Collarbone, and Having No Head, personally it wasn't my thing, and I feel like it would have been better if they had split this album into one lyric lyric focused album and then maybe an EP that had all their other instrumental works, because even though it wasn't necessarily bad, it was just really hard to sit through at times. I had to take breaks when listening to this album, which, I mean, I understand that albums aren't necessarily made for you to digest all at once. I think that sometimes critics, because they're always listening to so much music, they can kind of forget to slow down and actually listen to what's happening. But yeah, it kind of got very hard to listen to, as opposed to I Like It When You Sleep, because all the songs seem to work so well together, and even the instrumentals were a lot more dynamic than I think the more lo-fi songs on here. I would say that some of my other favorite songs from this album that weren't the singles were Then Because She Goes, which is another nostalgia-y guitar-driven song, like Me and You Together song, and it's only like 2.5 minutes long, so it got really stuck in my head for a while. And I don't know why, but Roadkill was another song that got really stuck into my head. If you don't know already, one controversy that came in the song Roadkill was because the lead singer, he used a slur, a homophobic slur in it. And honestly, yeah, I can understand why people are upset at it because and I know he hasn't exactly come out as being bisexual or in the LGBT community. So honestly, yeah, I also think it makes it very hard to listen to and cringy because he shouldn't be allowed to use that slur, in my opinion. But I do think it has some very catchy rhythms in the song overall. And honestly, while I wouldn't listen to it in my spare time, I think that still a pretty solid song. Another song that I really enjoyed was Tonight, I Wish I Was Your Boy. I think that it's very flowy and I found it very pleasant to listen to at the very least, and it is something that I would go back to. Maybe it's because of no Rome's on it, and I honestly love his music a lot more than 1975. But yeah, those are pretty much all the songs that I would say I really, really stuck with. Other songs such as Playing on My Mind, Yeah, I Know, Don't Worry, which features his dad, Tim Healy. These songs were just alright. I would say that they deserve their place on the album, but they didn't resonate with me as much as the others. I know another problem that a lot of critics have with this album is that it's all over the place in terms of tone. This wasn't really a problem with me because I enjoyed both the more relaxing and I guess more synthesizer focused songs such as Birthday Party, Streaming, If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know. But I do understand why people think it's not cohesive because it goes from mostly guitar driven nostalgia 90-ish songs to like 6 instrumentals in a row, and I think that it could have been arranged a little better and that dividing this 22 song long album into two different pieces could have made it a lot more digestible. So yeah, that's about all my thoughts that I had on this album. I don't think it really lived up to the hype that at least I and a lot of other fans set up for it because of the first few singles that came out. After the Birthday Party, Me and You Together song, Guys, Too Shy came out, I was honestly really excited because some of these songs I still have in my playlist and listen to. But yeah, overall, I think it was just too much filler, not enough lyrical substance, which I know is something I know they've always liked to experiment with instrumental stuff, but I don't know, it didn't really feel as natural this time. It felt more as if they needed to fill up the long runtime with just every single thing they've created when they could have cut it down.